What's making you want to rap?
Damn, spell that shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back, man, to the second episode of the Humble Pie Podcast, hosted by yours truly. But before I get into that, we got a special guest, my boy, my dog, Wallace in the building. He will now be a part of the Humble Pie Podcast team, so I want to give him a warm welcome today.
We need that box.
Right. Yeah, but man, we back here for our second installation. Like I said, we're gonna get y'all at least 1 or 2 episodes a week right now. I got my guy with me, so prepare for some heat on film. But again, just want to thank everybody for tuning in with us on the first episode of mental health awareness. I know it was a shorter episode with just myself, but again, the response has been outstanding. But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I appreciate it, man. Support is free, right?
Facts. Facts.
So we
subscribe, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up.
Facts.
Give us a thumbs down. It don't even matter.
Right. All of it is good.
Put a comment in the notes because it's gonna be some stuff going on there you're gonna want to comment on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Comment, like, subscribe.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna give it over to Wallace right now, man. Let him introduce himself. Go ahead, bro. Take it away.
It's your boy Wallace. IG Wallace B123. Real simple. Come on, follow me. You know, we got the episode number 2. I'm on episode number 2. He was episode number 1 of the Humble Pie Podcast, and just get ready to rock out. Good information. We just holding the conversation the same way y'all hold conversations in y'all living room.
Absolutely, and that's what we're reporting live from our living room.
Reporting live.
So that's where we at right now.
From a penthouse downtown somewhere.
We're going to show y'all
some
the
living room somewhere.
It's a disclosed.
Don't show them this. Don't show them this. It's gonna be too much for them.
All right, man. So appreciate you, that man. Thank you for being here, my brother.
Yes,
I appreciate you, man. This is just the beginning of something very special. Today's episode, we'll be talking about generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people talk about it all the time. Well, we want to break generational curses, or what is a generational curse? You know what I'm saying? What is it? It's something. So, you know, me, man, I'm going to look it up. You know, yeah. I'm not going to guess. And then we're going to go from there. So
I'm going to guess.
I'm going to get a black and white.
I'm shooting. You're going to get a black and white. I'm shooting from the hip.
All right, man. A habit or behavior that has been passed on from one generation to the next.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So habits create lifestyles. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, your habits create who you are, but we want to break those, right? So I'm going to let you take over, and then I'm going to feed off you today, man.
Okay.
So what do you think, or what you feel like some things that are generational curses that you feel should be broken in a household, in a community?
Well, the number one generational curse that we got just as black people
mm-hmm.
is the not wanting to help each other.
Yeah, I agree.
We got this crabs in a bucket mentality.
Absolutely.
So if I'm doing something, like if I'm doing something, and I'm just gonna use this as an example because this is reality. I'm flipping houses or whatever I'm doing. You hit me up and say, "Hey, bro, I need to know how you do that." Now, mind you, I've been in this world of, because I don't mind asking, "Hey,
right,
can you help me with this? Hey, how did you do that? Hey, how did you do?" The number one thing, the first thing that all you got to do is, as soon as somebody say, "All you got to do is," they ain't finna tell you shit. All you got to do is,
hey, that is crazy.
Hey, bro, how you flip a house?
Yeah.
All you got to do is buy the house, get somebody to fix it, and then you sell it for more.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't tell you nothing about the rest of the stuff because
Nope.
it's a whole bunch of other stuff. Hey, you need to get a loan. You don't take this money out your pocket to do this.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of loan should you be getting? Should you get a hard money loan? Should you get a conventional loan?
Right.
Should you get the same loan that your mama used to buy your house? They don't tell you nothing.
Nope. Nah.
Where you find the people who fix the house? They don't tell you that.
Nope.
All they tell you is go buy a house, fix it, and then sell it.
Yeah.
They don't tell you got to pay a mortgage while the house is sitting.
Absolutely.
They don't tell you none of that stuff.
That.
But the thing is, it's a fear of you're gonna do better than me.
Yeah.
And I don't and I want to shine. And it's a weird thing because it kind of, if you think about it, it goes back to, we didn't even got to go back super far, but let's just take it just to the 80s in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go back to the 80s, the only real role models that people had that they saw in the hood that had things were drug dealers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Crack came in about 83, 84, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds with cars and all this other shit. So my example for success is the drug dealer, not the doctor,
mm-hmm.
because we had other issues. The reason why we couldn't be the doctor at that
mm-hmm.
particular point. But if that's my example, that's what I'm going to shoot for.
Right.
So when you think about, okay, he's shooting to be a drug dealer, that's the only thing he know. When you see something different, I'm kind of going off topic, but when you see something different and you say, oh damn, I didn't know they did this in real estate too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have this kind of money as a real estate broker or whatever the case may be,
mm-hmm.
and then you go and reach out to that particular person and say, hey, I'm trying to get into this real estate shit because I see you doing well. Somebody might have an uncle. Mm-hmm. Everybody got at least one uncle that like they own their shit. You're like, damn,
yeah.
Uncle got all the cars. He got a nice house. He got this, that, and the third. 9 times out of 10, most of the time that uncle don't tell you shit.
So real quick, so you mentioned how we have a crab in a barrel mentality, right? And especially in the black community,
mm-hmm.
And it's because one man don't want to see the next man doing good. We're
mm-hmm.
not saying just man, we saying one man,
man,
everybody, mankind in general, right?
And it's granted, is not to cut you off, my brother, but is mostly in our community. Granted, it happens in other communities, but it's mostly in ours because our community has less overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so my bad, go ahead.
But it just reminded me that Kanye West line, he was like, spend $400 on this just to be like, niggas, you ain't up on this. And that line is so true. We are people that want to just show what we have, right? Mm-hmm. But we want to help each other get it. Mm-hmm. I think as a culture in general, and we're going to talk about black folks for a minute, we're going to get on y'all for a minute. If we come stronger together, we're absolutely stronger together. But if my brother need my help, I'm not going to fully help him, right? I don't want to break that generational curse.
Yeah.
And it because I want to be the guy, I want to be the man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And not only that, you're not even thinking about it as a generational curse. Even just as simple as that line, I spent $400 on this just so I can be like, nigga, you ain't up on this. The other part of that is, hey, bro, where you get them shoes from?
Yeah.
Remember what motherfuckers used to say? Oh, I got these from New York. My guy got them. They ain't used to tell you. Like before the internet, y'all.
Yeah, before.
You used to have to ask people where they actually got something that was exclusive.
Yeah.
And if they told you, that was just a blessing because most of the time they lied and said, and this is on the simplest scale of crabs in a barrel, if you think about it.
For real.
For the most part, they lied and said, oh, yeah, my guy got these, knowing damn well they went right on Madison Pulaski. And there's a dude that outside his van.
MP Mall.
MP Mall. The plaza, go in the basement, and there was a dude down there that had some exclusive shit, but they didn't just want to tell you, hey, shit, go to the basement on Madison Pulaski because they didn't want you to have what you have because now, if I let you shine, my light is dimmer.
So how do we, as a people now, take those traumas and those experiences and change it? Because when we say we want to break something, right? So a generational thing, I mean, it's been passed on for years. It takes 21, 31 days to break a habit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we talking about decades of habits that's been created.
A habit is deeper than a culture.
Absolutely.
I mean, a culture is deeper than a habit. You got 21 years to break a culture of doing something.
And if it got to start right here in the living room, this is where it's going to start.
Yeah.
It start with positive dialogue and just holding people accountable on the Humble Pie podcast. Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to hold y'all accountable as you would hope you would hold us accountable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's very important. So one of the main things, though, me being a father of three, that I want to break or to start, I ain't gonna say break, to start on my lineage is financial literacy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Knowing how to spend money, knowing how to make money, credit. I mean, we need that in class right now. We didn't have none of that coming up.
Credit should be something taught in school.
Absolutely.
Taxes should be something taught in school.
Absolutely. You shouldn't have to wait to go to college or take an AP class in high school to understand how to spend money, how to pay for your taxes, why is credit important. Because essentially that's your adult report card.
Yeah.
You know, it lets me know, hey, Wallace, he good for this, but he might not be good for that. You know, me now personally, I'm working on mine. Everybody say they're working on it. You ain't got to pay somebody hundreds and thousands of dollars to fix it. The knowledge is there. You know, and that's a topic for another day.
Right.
But that's just something I really want to just throw out there, like with my children. You know, I want to make sure they know how and the importance and the essence of financial literacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People say, "Oh, save your money, save your money." Say, okay, well, what I'm doing with this 400,000, 20,000 money just sitting up. What I'm gonna do with it?
Yeah.
You know, am I
So
just using it for?
that's the next level.
Exactly.
See, save your money is a scare tactic. Is a scare tactic because granted you can save your money.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing to do because when something happens, you got it there to use it. But does that build wealth?
No.
Right now we're in a recession, right?
No. Yeah.
So if you saved your money right now, just say if you had $200,000 in 2019.
Okay.
It's 2023 now. That same $200,000 is not worth what it was in 2019. So just say for instance, let's just property value went up.
Okay.
But chicken went up.
Right.
You get a 4-piece chicken wings for $4. A 4-piece now is $17.
Man, hey man.
So now that $4 that you had is worthless. You gotta have $17. So that means if you was holding on to $17 back in 2019,
right,
you can at least buy you something to eat 3 times.
Yeah.
2023, you can buy you something to eat
one time.
So that same $17 that you were saving, the value has diminished.
It ain't did nothing for you.
So that's the power of saving money. So in a not only just recession, then you got the inflation.
Right. Shit going up.
The world inflates every year. That's that regardless of which, granted, it's just going up rapid right now.
Yeah.
But saving money is okay, but investing money is better.
I agree.
Because if you invest your $17, now you could have bought you a whole chicken, and then you sold that chicken,
right,
and made you $4 on top of the 17 you just made. Now you got $21. That's the point of investing because now your 17 is 21 now. So by the time you get to you keep flipping those chickens, by the time you get to 2023, that same $17 is thousands. It's probably a restaurant now.
Yeah.
Because you've been focused on investing your money rather than saving it. Yeah. Nothing wrong with saving your money.
Nothing wrong, y'all.
There's nothing wrong with saving your money, but that's not the end all be all in regards to financial wealth, financial literacy. Like, don't stop it. Hey, get you a job, save your money. That's cool. Granted, everybody's not a business owner.
Right.
Everybody got a position to play. But what you want to do, especially if you got kids, you want to give them every opportunity possible to succeed. So even if they choose to, look, Dad, I'm just going to make a lot of money and I'm going to save it.
Right.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Right. As long as I know that you know that you can invest this money and make more, you can do this and make more. That way you can take care of your kids and that money can take care of their kids and that money can take care of their kids, so on and so forth.
So look, while and you mentioned about it, Wallace, about working, right? And we breaking generational curses. Now, all my life, I was taught to work. You know, you work a job, a 9 to 5. Yeah. You pay your bills. You take your responsibility. You know, I'm tired of that. Like I said, this chapter of my life is called faith.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of courage to walk away from a career and believe in yourself. When you bet on yourself,
government job. All we ever wanted was a government job.
Hey, look, and I had one.
You go down there and get you one of them good government jobs.
Yeah, that's what they say. Man, that's what they say. Get the good government job, but at the expense of what?
At the expense of
what? My mental health. And we talked about that. We talked about our mental health, and we talked about the traumas, right? The thing that and everybody has, you know, things that they deal with on the job. You know what I mean? But it's entrepreneurship not for everybody.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not. You know, somebody got to work.
Yeah.
Somebody got to work. You know what I mean? But going into that, like I said, we talking about the generational curses and how mental, physical, even sometimes emotional abuse comes with that.
Yeah.
And you don't even really understand why now I'm whooping my son. Like, so my grandma, right?
Yeah.
She might have physically whooped my mom,
Yeah.
right? And then my mom physically whooped me. We just talking about the physical,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so then now I'm a father. Am I gonna do that? Practice those same behavior on my children? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think having two sons and a daughter is different ways and approach to go about chastising our children and understanding who they are. And we may fall victim to that. You know, all my mothers and fathers out there who have, you know, teenagers and toddlers. We give our children the opportunity to speak, right? How do you feel? We wasn't given the opportunity as kids to be like express ourselves in a way in which we could be understood. Nah, sit your ass down and be quiet.
Right.
You know.
And not
go
only
ahead.
that, not my bad, not to cut you off, but not only that, whoopings don't work all the time.
Absolutely.
Whoopings only work with certain type of kids.
Like what type of kids?
Kids that are already gonna do right anyway.
Yeah.
Because you got some kids, they get their ass whooped all the time.
It don't work.
And it don't work.
You're right.
And it don't work.
Absolutely.
So it is what people gotta also understand is if you got 2 kids, you got 3 kids, you got 4 kids. Personality wise, every kid might be completely different. So you cannot raise them exactly the same.
Definitely.
Like you're on the for the baseline, yes, you raise them the same. But one kid might be bad as hell.
Right.
So there are certain things you got to do with him to make him respond positively to to certain shit.
Yeah.
So if you whoop one kid and it worked, you might whoop him and he's like, oh, I'm straight. I can do this again.
Yeah.
That wasn't that bad. I cried for a minute, but I'm still gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not his thing might be the game.
Yeah.
Take his game away. Now he gonna act right.
Privileges.
Yeah.
Privileges.
Now he gonna act right.
Positive
So when it comes down to, like you said, passing those ass whoopings down, it's another generational curse. Because you assume just as a parent, as a human being, that it worked for this particular kid or it worked for this generation.
Right.
It should work for them. But we're in a different world.
Absolutely.
No Jasmine guy. So every time that we got another generation coming along, the world has to adapt, and that was us raising kids. Is one of the things that has to adapt.
I agree.
You got to try your best to do what you can in regards to raising your kids, but every kid can't be raised exactly the same.
Yeah, and that was a great point. I mean, and when you talked about having children or more than one child, like I said, you have that base. Like I love all my children the same, right? But I love them differently.
You have to
because. The
you got a
same
girl.
way, exactly. My daughter requires a different type of father.
Yeah.
You know, my boys, my oldest son, my youngest son, they require a different type of tenure. You know, you can't do it all the same. So I think that's very important to have that base on how we change things. And this is a conversation for that. How do we change those things? You know, positive reinforcements. It's okay to get your son a PS5, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if son ain't acting right in school, we're going to take their privilege away.
Yeah.
Because that's a privilege. That's something, like you said, we had to adapt to now. Back in the day, they ain't had nothing to take from us.
See, and the other thing with that, I'm glad you just said that. Outside was our.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say get punishment.
Like yo, like damn, I can't go outside. Oh, this shit. Like,
it's detrimental.
You're going too far now. Wait a minute.
Not the outside.
Because the whooping was a momentary thing.
Yeah.
That taking away outside.
Oh man, that's residual.
That was like 2 weeks.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's just one of those things that
you
have to figure out what the trigger is, because you might have a kid that don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah, it might not. Yeah,
he might just want to sit in the house and read books.
That might work for him.
Oh, let me take these books away.
Yeah.
But people got to pay attention to what their kids are doing, what their kids are into, and especially now because the world is open. So
absolutely,
the world is open to them. It's super small.
Yeah. So we talked about physical, right? Physical generational curses, mental, right? As it relates to taking away privileges. And then we have behaviors, right? Kids repeat what they see.
Yeah.
Right? They repeat what they see. No matter the age. I'm an athlete, right? My son's kind of went towards sports.
Right.
But what if I was alcoholic? What if I was drinking around my kids? Or what if I'm smoking marijuana around my children? You know, that's a gateway drug in itself. And shout out to all my Mary Jane folks out here. We're not here to shame nobody. We talking about the effects or lasting effects it can have on our youth going forward. Because whether you're a parent or not, there's a child somewhere that looks up to you. without you even knowing. A niece, a nephew, a little kid next door, they paying attention to the elders, because that's what I did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I paid attention to the people in my neighborhood, my uncles, my grandfathers, my older cousins, like what they was doing. I wanted to do them.
Right.
Do what they was doing. My uncle Mel was the coolest dude I ever known in my life. To this day, he still is, and I love him to death.
Right.
And that was the role model, you know, that was around me growing up. So it was very important for me to see how he cared for us. And even, I mean, I'm his nephew, but he treated me like a son. You know what I'm saying? So that's very important. My grandfather the same way. You know, they treat you like that. So when I became a dad, right, that's how I want my children to feel. And if I'm around anybody else kids, I'm automatically in daddy mode.
Right.
Like I'm just in daddy mode. It's because I think that's so important, especially positive black role models. They need to be seen. They need to be seen to break these curses. Or we're not gonna say break. We're just gonna say grow past these things. You know what I'm saying? Because some things are broken and some things are not. You know, there's parents right now who might still go upside their kid head.
Yeah.
Boop, bop, bing, bing. Right. I mean, we're not
some,
saying you wrong.
And I was just gonna say, there's some kids who need that boo bop.
Right. Who need that.
That's the only thing they understand.
Exactly. Spell the rod. You know, spell the rod, spoil the child. So we get all that. So we're not saying, you know, we're not disagreeing with that, but we're saying there are other ways. Right. There are other ways that we as a generation, we as a people, black, white, brown, orange, and yellow, that can move forward positively, where it has trickle down effects, where our children technically right now are the future, man. I mean, right now, the children right now that were born, let's just say, from 2005, heck, right now, those adults, I might have to go like 2010.
Yeah. Since
2010, right? My daughter was born in 2008, so kids from at least 2008, 2010 to now, like, that's the future. Like, they're going to determine what this world goes next.
Yeah.
So right now, we have to put them in the best position to be educated about financial literacy, their mental health, right? And understanding it's okay to express yourself, but in a manner in which it's respectful, okay? Because I applaud our teachers, man, especially in the public school system.
Yeah.
That is something that, oh my God, you got to have a special place in your heart for children to do that. Because our kids are lost to a certain extent. And these are our kids in the school. These ain't, you know, I went my daughter report card pickup, and I was the parent. It felt weird as hell for me. I'm like, I'm the parent. Like, these kids towering on me. I could remember the time my mom was doing that. You know, I want to be there.
And it don't seem like it was that long ago.
Nah, it really don't. I mean,
especially as millennials.
Oh my God.
It really don't seem like it was that long ago when you really think about it.
Oh my God. So that was just something that for me was just an eye opener. You know, I have a freshman, bro. That's crazy.
And you have a
high school
freshman. That shit is crazy.
So congratulations, y'all. We old now.
Millennials, we old now. Millennials turn this year. Millennials turn 42.
Man, look.
So the first millennials, they turned 42 this year.
Look, I'm at the age now. If the music too loud, I got attitude. I need to turn it down a little bit. Hey, come on, man. I don't want to hear no rap till at least 2 or 3 o'clock in the evening.
God damn.
Like, I need, you know, I'm almost at that age, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's me.
Man, that's nuts. That's nuts. you an old man.
But it's all tied into your mentality, man. And I was so excited to talk about this topic because you hear it thrown around all the time about, you know, generation this, generation that. But I mean, what are we doing to change it? You know what I'm saying? What are we?
Not much.
Go ahead, huh?
Complaining. That's the only thing that people do.
These kids.
See, they focus on these kids and they say, oh well,
these are kids. Though.
Right.
That's how I feel every time I see.
But think about that. Think about that. You're a millennial, right?
Absolutely. Damn. Yes.
As millennials, there are some millennials who have kids that are grown.
Yeah.
Like they're 20 years old, 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? They're millennial grandparents.
Wow. I know guys that's grandparents.
Yeah.
That's in their 30s.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Millennial grandparent. That sounds nuts.
Grandma and grandpa, they gotta be 50, 60. They 42.
Not even that. 37.
39. Not 37.
36.
I'll be 37.
Think about that.
You're right. That's heavy, bro.
Because you got a lot of us having kids at 15, 16 back then.
That's heavy.
If you have a kid at 16, 32, your kid's 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that age.
Yeah.
you had a kid. So you could easily, if you follow your path, to be a granddaddy at 32 years old.
Okay. So man, that just sparked another thing in me with teenage pregnancy, right? That's part of, I wouldn't necessarily call it a curse, but that's generational for sure.
Yeah.
You know, your mom had you when she was 16, right? So y'all grew up together basically, you and your firstborn. Most of us grew up with our firstborn. Like we learned how to be an adult and a parent at the same time.
Which is a negative and a positive.
Yeah. So what's some pros that you would say as far as being a teen parent?
The pro.
Just give me two, and I'll give you two.
Number one. I ain't gonna say a teen parent.
Yeah, because you hear so much negative about it.
So you just say you had a baby at 17.
Okay, 17 had a baby.
So you just about to get out of high school. So when I was a senior, all the girls was pregnant, which is wild. Like,
shout out to Westinghouse, man.
Shout out to Westinghouse.
The house.
That one looked like Simpson senior year, class 2001. Anyway, so it's the positives is that by the time that teenager becomes an adult, y'all can share more.
Okay.
Because we come from a hip hop culture, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's think about our parents. If we go back to our parents, there's a gap this wide. I can't use my that, but there's a gap this wide culturally between our parents and us.
Yeah.
They wore different clothes. They listened to different music. They didn't understand hip hop. They didn't understand this. They didn't understand shit we did.
Right.
Our generation, culturally, you can if you had a kid when you was 17, y'all wearing the same clothes. Right?
Absolutely. That is a great point.
Y'all listen to the same music.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Y'all do the same shit right now. So you can technically, the positive part of the other positive part of that is bonding. Because you're not living in a different world from your child. You and your child is kind of on the same shit.
Yeah.
For the most part, of course, there's gonna be some gap there, but you understand your kid and their wants and their needs a little bit better than we did. Because also, you're not repeating the exact same pattern. I was about to say. So that's probably why it was so difficult for us to collaborate or to get through to our parents, because like they said, that gap if you had
in culture.
If you had
parents, grandparents.
Because you got to remember, our parents are products of the crack era.
Absolutely.
So when they were 16, 17, 20, 30, their peers, if not them, were smoking crack.
Absolutely.
Or doing heroin. So by the time you turn 20, 30, when you really think about it, like, yo, I can't believe it was 20-year-old crackheads or 30-year-old crackheads. Yeah. But at that particular point, it was. So now you got something that's taken away from you as a parent. Now grandma is raising you, if that's the situation.
Yeah,
because that changes shit too. But now you have a group of parentless kids that are born in the 80s, most of them. Yeah. And they say, I'm gonna give my child every single thing that I didn't get. Okay. So now you've created a situation of spoiling. Okay. Without the child deserving. Okay. Of it. So now you've created, and this is another problem. Now you've created a child that is
entitled. Let me hop in right there. Go ahead. On entitled. Man, you brought up some good points, man. You got me over here on fire. My brain's like going crazy. But you talked about the difference, or like the cultural difference between our parents and the 80s, the crack epidemic, the drug epidemic, right? Yeah. And then then you mentioned just now on how with our children, we wanted to essentially break that. Yeah. Because me and my kids ain't smoking together. No. Me and my kids ain't drinking together. They're not even going to see me do that. Right? So what they have now, or what we have done to our kids, maybe consciously or subconsciously, is materialize things a little bit.
Big facts.
We asking our kids what you want to eat.
Yeah.
Like something as simple as
right. Some of that shit we didn't need to be carried over. Hey, no, this is what you about to eat. It was what you want to eat?
Yeah, that was a big one. Right. Like, what you want to eat? Like me?
I get the option? Oh shit.
Exactly. So fast forward, because we guilty, us parents right now, we ask our kids right now. What first thing they say, they're hungry, refrigerator full of food. Yes, I said refrigerator. Yeah. What y'all want to eat?
What? McDonald's? What?
Chick-fil-A, Five Guys, Wingstop, like it's crazy now. Yeah, y'all feel that. Can you send me some Uber Eats, Daddy?
Oh my God.
Send me some Uber Eats. What? Yo, we starting some new stuff now. We ain't calling it curses.
This is
some new sense of entitlement.
But this is millennials raising kids,
and that's and I think that ties a lot into because of those lack of opportunities that we didn't have as children.
Yeah.
Where it was basically either star or more sort of survival.
And the other thing is we relate more to those kids than our parents related to us.
What part is more relatable?
Culture.
Okay.
Remember that culture
like music.
I know how you feel because I was just there. We was just talking about how we was getting our report cards picked up and now you picking them up.
Right.
It don't seem that far away.
No, I don't.
With us, a lot of stuff as millennials don't seem that far away, especially because millennials in general have older kids.
Yeah.
At 35, and their kids might be 16, 17. They might be in high school and all that other. Our parents was fucking, 45 when we was in grammar school. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so you just got those kind of situations where you just the culture, like, I feel you. It's probably a subconscious guilt there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what?
Overcompensate.
I remember when I couldn't get no McDonald's on the way home from school. So let me stop and get you some McDonald's on the way home.
Restaurant food was a privilege growing up.
Who knew that our kids was going to be asking for the same shoes we was wearing?
Absolutely.
But we also said in our head, when I had some kids,
man,
I ain't have all the Jordans.
Yeah, and subconsciously we're trying to end that cycle that's been so perpetuated over the years and years, and it's something, and it's very small, minuscule. We say material things, and you have parents now who are not going to do these material things for their children because they just not cultured that way. So we it's okay. Like, we're not saying it's a right or wrong way of going about it. If you like to spoil your children, by all means, because I'm gonna do for mine. You feel me?
Right, exactly.
But what we want to tap into is on why, subconsciously, why are we doing it? Are we doing it because we have the means to do it?
Right.
Are we struggling to do it? Are we doing it because we're healing through that process? Right? Are we doing it to make ourselves feel good because we want our children to feel completely opposite of how we felt at 12, 13 years old going to school? I don't got the latest Jordans, or I don't have the latest iPhone or iPad. I don't want my kid to feel like that. So let me take my trauma, right, and heal through them by giving them something material, something because we want to create the memory, right, of having that. Oh, mama, daddy, I want this or I want that. So okay, now I'm a parent. Like, how I'm gonna figure it out? Do I pay the lights, or do I go get my son or daughter this extra T-shirt they don't really need?
Because now you got that survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You survived through that. But so now you guilty that
that's
you can't give them everything that you wanted. You want it. Not necessarily everything that they want. Granted, they want this shit.
Yeah.
But that don't mean they need it. But you want to give them everything you wanted.
Yeah.
So you put yourself in a position where you are not financially comfortable just to make some shit happen, and you call it sacrifice.
Right.
When it's not really a sacrifice.
It's not.
Because because probably the number one reason that we do these things is to keep up.
Yeah.
To keep up with the image of social media.
Yeah.
To keep up with the image of what the next person is doing. So that is a actual technical term for it. It's called social contagion.
Okay.
So it's you doing something, or everybody's doing something. Just say for instance, not just the trendy things to do. So it becomes socially contagious.
Okay.
Like, and I hate to use this as a thing, but it is one, mental health.
Okay.
Everybody don't have the same mental health issues, or any at all sometimes.
Right.
But due to social contagion, you have people saying, I'm depressed too.
Yeah.
Because not only is depressed a thing that they're seeing every day,
it's trendy.
It's trendy.
Yeah.
It's trendy, and I want to feel like I'm part of the in crowd. This is how I'm in. This is my favorite rapper is Depressed.
Yeah.
You ever listen to Rod Wave?
No.
If I pull up the titles to his songs, you can tell that motherfucker. all he's thinking about is depressed.
I've
Hurt
heard
on my sleeve, just all type of shit.
But isn't okay? So let me play the devil's advocate for it, right? But isn't it important for us to have outlets or people that look like us that we can relate to?
Outlets are great.
You know what I'm saying?
Outlets are great. But that doesn't mean everybody needs the outlet, because what happens is you're in a situation where you might have a child that's perfectly fine. Our issue is just and now this goes outside of just black people or whatever the case may be. This is the world. Okay. The world's issue is we go from one extreme to the next. Mm-hmm. There has to be some middle ground within the extremes. So if we go from, hey, toxic masculinity, you're a boy, you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to wear pink, you're not allowed to do all this other shit, to on the extreme end, my 13-year-old boy says he's a girl, and I'm gonna accept that, as a parent. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's heavy.
Like so now all these things play into mental issues. I'm going to accept that as that because I don't want him to hurt himself. Right. Because in my mind, what happens is these children who get to this particular point, and when people don't accept it, they hurt themselves. Because the reality of the world has said, hey, it's okay to be this, and it's okay to hurt yourself, believe it or not. So now that becomes another social contagion. Now your 11-year-old is talking to his 12-year-old friend, and they're looking on TikTok at shit, or it ain't necessarily got to be TikTok. Whatever they're going on in their little social groups, they say, "Oh no, this okay." And if you want to hurt yourself behind it, yeah, that's what we do. Like at one point, it got to a point. I want to say it was fucking 2020, 2019, one of them. I was hearing about child suicides like constantly. Yeah. Constantly. Yeah. Like what is going on? Yeah. And to me, it falls within a trend of attempts. Yeah. Attempts to do stuff to be in. And granted, that's just I'm just using that because that's the most visible thing that you can think of. But just the social contagion of shit is just.
And you brought some great points for that. I think all of us on social media, whether you have an account on TikTok, Snap, Insta, Facebook, we have a responsibility. Yeah. To be honest and to be accountable on the things that we post. Right? That's why if a job see you doing something that you ain't got no business on the job, hell, we go back to when Paul Pierce was essentially showing his private life on the internet. You remember that? He went live. Right? Oh, yeah. He was drinking and he had some female company. Things he probably do 100% of the time off camera. But because he showed it on film, it became a reality. But everybody knows what's going on. Right. So there were consequences for that. And there should be consequences if we're not being socially responsible. And that's a generational thing too.
Socially responsible.
Absolutely. I think there's a huge responsibility. The people we thank you guys for creating the Mark Zuckerbergs and everybody of the world who's created these Snapchats and Twitters and things that's given us these platforms. So now I'm a part of it. We're a part of it now. Right. So we want to be responsible in the things we talk about and making sure that, hey, this is a safe space, but you're going to hear the truth too. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? There are a lot of things that our children are exposed to right now that we didn't learn about till we was probably in late adulthood that our kids now, we got to talk about. Yeah. We got to talk about, LGBTQ. Yes. That's a real thing for a 10-year-old, for an 11-year-old. And it shouldn't be.
And think about that.
Go ahead.
Think about that. Go back to what I was saying about the trend of which.
Exactly.
Which and this is not to the LGBTQ
not at all.
Community or none of that. Yeah. But is we go from one extreme,
like you said,
we hate you.
Yep.
To oh no, we love you. You can do whatever you want. Anytime somebody has a pass to do whatever they want, it's a problem.
Absolutely, there gotta be boundaries.
So there need to be a middle ground. And the because our initial extreme was probably held for so long. Yeah. Once the reins came off or the chains came off of the LGBT community, they just say, oh, we free.
What do we draw the line? I think that's very important.
Parenting. Parents are the ones who should draw the line. And and this is my own unpopular opinion.
Go ahead.
And I have no problem. And shout out to D Wade, but I have no problem with D Wade and his son and his daughter.
Right.
Doing her transition or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
My problem came in with D Wade when he announced it to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you just brought the world into
your household. Yeah.
So and I think he did it selfishly, but I'll talk about that later.
Uh-huh.
But my problem is when you brought it to the world. So when you bring this to the world as your 12-year-old, right? Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, he lives in a different world than you live as a millennial. Mm-hmm. D Wade is millennial. He's Gen Z, his child.
Yeah.
He lives in a different generation. He lives in a different world than you do. So now, when you take that 12-year-old mm-hmm. and you put him on the world and say, "Hey, my son Zaire is not Zaire. I need y'all to accept that," mm-hmm. and this, that, and the third. Now, as D Wade's daughter, mm-hmm. he becomes an icon.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
When you become an icon, now you're in a situation where people are looking up to you. Mm-hmm. As a 12-year-old, when you turn 16, 17, and you say, "You know what? I don't think I want to do this no more. I don't want to chop my worm off. I just want to do, I just want to do a couple dinos and, I just want to be regular gay." Hold on. Let me land.
Go ahead.
If he gets to a point where he wants to be just, regular gay, mm-hmm. and say, "You know what? I like dressing a little feminine, mm-hmm. and I'm I just want to date boys, and I don't want to be considered a woman no more because mm-hmm. that's something that I felt at 12. Mm-hmm. I'm 17 now.
Right.
The pressure of changing his mind mm-hmm. because his father publicly put this out in the world, is tremendous. Mm-hmm. Because nobody knew who D Wade's child was.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Other than, you know what I'm saying? So when you put that kind of pressure on a child, mm-hmm. now, if he decide or she decide to change her mind and say, "Look, I just want to be a boy."
Yeah.
Which that happens a lot,
mm-hmm.
but I want to be a boy. There's a lot of pressure for them to say, "You know what? I can't do it mm-hmm. because the world is looking up to me," mm-hmm. and now you put your child in a certain kind of danger. Uh-huh. Let's go back to mental illness. Yeah. Now, does the child become depressed? Now he has the opposite problem. He's uh-huh. out. Uh-huh. It used to be, I can't come out because I'm scared of what people might think. Now is I can't change my mind because I'm scared of what people might think.
So, because we run out of time, we want you to land on this idea and perspective. Mm-hmm. We want to be very clear mm-hmm. because we know the world we live in. Yeah. We're not against none of the LGBT community, but we have an opinion. We have a right to what we think.
Right.
But my thought on that.
But that's a parenting thing.
Absolutely.
Not an LGBT thing.
Thank you for clearing that up. I just want to say from your perspective on mm-hmm. that, I think sometimes, and we've all done it, we heal in public.
Yeah.
And we go through things in public. And once mm-hmm. we set that standard, it's almost like you said, it's contagious. We got to keep up with it.
Yeah.
So, lastly, I'm going to give you one last question, and then I'm going to get my thing, and we're going to be off of here.
Yeah.
Going forward in this generation, what's something that we all can do? Well, I'm not going to say all because it's, mm-hmm. it's hard to be autonomous, but what is something that we can mentally or strive to do now as men and women to start something more positive for our generation?
For our next generation?
Yes, sir.
Number one, keep your business your business.
Yeah.
My dad used to say something. He didn't really say too many wise things.
Okay.
But one thing that I didn't understand, he used to always say, I didn't understand until I was grown, was everybody's business ain't nobody's business.
There you go.
Everybody's business ain't nobody's business. That means your business ain't nobody's business. My business ain't nobody's business. Everybody around business ain't nobody's business. So the number one thing is, if you putting yourself out to the public in a whatever the way it might be, if it could be perceived as negative, keep that shit in your house.
Yeah.
Keep that shit in your house. And not only that, educate yourself. If you have kids, especially if you have kids, educate yourself on making sure that you put them in the best position possible. Because we might not have the tools.
Yeah.
But the tools are available. You can go to YouTube University and you can pull up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not only that, sometimes you just don't know the question to ask. You know what I'm saying? Go to somebody who hey, I see your kids turned out good. What did you do?
Yeah.
You know, your friend's mama, your cousin mama, like, you know what I'm saying? What did you do? And it could just be the kid. You know what I'm saying? But also, but you educate yourself and give your child the best opportunity, you know, going forward with this next generation. Because if you don't try, then they just gonna, you know, go to the wayside. The only thing you can do is try.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing here, man. Thank you for that perspective, Wallace. I appreciate you, man. My boy on today. But again, man, we're gonna sum it up here, man. Right now, the best thing we do to break these curses, man, is to provide positive role models and outlets for our youth.
Educate yourself.
And education is the major key, if not the only one, for us moving forward as a people and as a nation. But again, we thank y'all for tuning in. This is episode 2 of the Humble Pie Podcast. I'm your boy Vise. This is my man Wallace, and we out. Peace.